Yes, that is very true, but actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds the body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your action, I'd like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. Huh. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he a friend or foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. So we're gonna get a lot more detail about this. A glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. Wait, already? What do you mean you didn't really pour it for yourself? I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over, tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought that he was dead, and the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. I don't know about that. Oh, so you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your early testimony? I didn't think that I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with the testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. I'm just thinking about that. Wouldn't that be, like... Okay, so she's saying she came in after the murder. The knife was planted in during the... or right after the murder for incriminating evidence. If she's saying she's not the killer, then... If she just walked in... And I'm now looking for the crime scene photo. Just to look real quick. Like, that guy had a... Yeah, it's hard to see because of the gray. But if that was in color, that's a big yellow knife. Like, that's a fancy gold knife. Yellow, gold, whatever knife. Edgeworth, what in the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. A glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. Surprised when I walked in the room and saw a messy affair. Juan, he was sitting slumped over, tired looking in the corner. So I'm sitting... I think I'm gonna go with what I thought. Wait, no, I think that was the one I wanted to. To be honest, I thought he just fainted or something. Well, thought didn't cross my mind that... okay, so it didn't cross your mind that he was dead. But when you look at the crime photo, he's got a knife sticking out of him. So you honestly didn't think that he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. Ah. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a huge-ass knife sticking out, straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. I mean, other than, you know, the huge spot of blood right on his chest. But ignoring that, yeah, there's... I mean, I can't really see the knife because it's all black and gray. And it kind of blends in. It's like... it looks like it's actually part of his costume. Kind of like it goes straight across. Never mind, anyway. That's... Well, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then go nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Oh, another $200. And your lie was proven to be very... And your lie was proven one thing, has proven one thing very clearly. My inability to speak proper sentences. That you were the real killer. No. Oh no. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Mangarde, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, please try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who called Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might incriminate yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there is no need for the court to continue any further. Mr. Mangarde's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict from Mr. Mangarde. The Edgeworth? Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. The witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through silence, Menengarde will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by griping onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have enough strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Madame Garden will be acquitted. Acquitted. Yes, acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging onto them. And what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Yeah, this is a bit weird. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me, I'm begging you. Please believe me, I didn't call Juan. Please, help, please, someone. Someone. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. To think about this, think about what this witness did, and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? It's Larry. Larry pops out of nowhere. There's no one else it could be except for the woman crying right there, right? Come on, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? But we need that information. Oh, this is a hard choice. Maybe I'm thinking I should force, or at least try to push Andrews to testify. That information may be vital. Although it may turn this case around on its head and just like Maya just dies because of that, but honestly, it's a worthy sacrifice. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I'd like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Angarde would get an acquittal, but in its place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want to win? Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. Oh, thought of something? Ah, such a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However... what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. Ah, that's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrienne Andrews. The secret of her codependent nature. Having other people know about it scares them more than anything else in the world. Please stop, I beg you. If people find out, I'll... Huh. If you're gonna say that you would choose death, that's no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I'll pull the truth from your breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. Sounded vaguely sexual. Now she looks like she's been sexually offended. So will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime, When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife, and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. That was all really suspicious. Or weird, just stab the body with the knife, but why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What? What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. The scumbag of a man, I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carita, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Angarde for the murder. And this is her crime. This is just taking a turn. Oh my goodness. Well, what? How's this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence a cross-examination. There's no time for shock in this courtroom. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. Oh my god, what am I supposed to do here? I don't know what I'm doing here. What am I doing? I didn't see anything there that like was really data for me on my like there's like some parts that sounded weird, but then she just answered why it was to frame Matt, and now I'm just like, I thought the button when I finished was returning the Matt's room. I had a bit of an inconvenience, and that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. I don't want to concede, but this testimony, it rings up the truth. It smells like justice. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, please don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. Wait, does that mean she doesn't notice anything either? Oh no! Do I just press on things then? Maybe get more maybe she'll slip up somewhere. But you can tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know that he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is part of the Jammin' Ninja costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour juice. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan. He was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point in the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So, if we're thinking this way, she said, or at least she implied that Matt has killed someone before. So if Matt's killed someone before, was that the secret that Juan was going to expose? And that's the reason why Matt would have killed Juan. And she knows about the murder, so obviously she's trying to pin it on Matt. So it's just, oh my, this is not going well, honestly. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure that there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. That was so you could get the knife, correct? I guess I'm just gonna press on everything just to see if I can get information then. The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and then returned it to the scene of the crime. Or returned to the scene of the crime. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife, and then ripped off the button. So you were the one who stabbed the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. That's when I stabbed Juan's dead body. I suddenly realized something. If I use the button somehow, I can make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip off one of the buttons off and then plant it in Master and Guardi's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. What was that inconvenience? An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering around in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lada. There's also a woman with a ray gun at the there's also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. And that's old bag for you. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for a weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go looking like myself and get caught again. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Whoops. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room with the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. And I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after all that, you went back to Mr. Ngarde's room and planted the button. Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word. What does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ngarde. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Franziska, huh? She said that I should under no circumstances confess what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. Honestly, I did kind of have a feeling that she wasn't the murderer, but then it was like, I felt like it was confirming that she was, especially with all this evidence just being pounded at me. Now this. Oh man, I'm being thrown for loops. Oh my goodness. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain that she is not the real killer. Well, wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That's all. Court is adjourned for today. Oh, shit. What was that? Oh, God, Phoenix, yeah, just... Shit. Today's trial. It's over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wonder if you might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. It's that seashell with the Rinnegan again. Although I don't remember, remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now, I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness, that card! Give it to me, hurry! Edgeworth, do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen such an emotional Edgeworth in my entire life. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? It's just gonna stop there? Are you... Oh my god, and we don't even get like an update on how Maya's doing. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, everything went to shit. Everything went to shit. Everything went to shit.